Hello and welcome to the Self-Care for Caregivers workshop presented by Raising Healthy Families at Infant Child Enrichment Services. My name is Kaitlyn, and today we're going to talk about what is self-care, what is it not, and what are some practical strategies for incorporating it into your daily life. So first, a brief definition. Self-care is the innate ability to provide to self one's own human needs safely. It is the deliberate choice you make to maintain your own health and wellness. There are a lot of myths out there about what self-care is and is not, and we're going to talk about that over the next few slides. So some common myths are that it is an indulgence, that self-care is selfish, or that self-care is a one-time experience or an expensive or time-consuming treat, like a weekend at the spa or a pedicure or a facial. And what we're going to find in this workshop is that that's simply not the case. Self-care is maintaining your own physical health. So that includes medical care, that includes nutrition, exercise, sleep. It is also identifying and managing your thoughts and feelings, keeping your emotional and mental spheres of your life healthy. It is allowing yourself to be imperfect, allowing yourself to be tired and to make mistakes without beating yourself up and holding yourself to unrealistic standards or perfectionism. Self-care can also be setting and maintaining healthy boundaries, both with yourself and with those that you are in relationship with. Self-care is movement or exercise, and this is not exercise to punish your body or to punish yourself for something that you ate. This is movement to nourish your body. This is to keep your joints limber, to help your body feel better in whatever capacity you're able. Self-care is maintaining friendships. It is building and maintaining a social support network. We are social creatures fundamentally, and we really need social connections to thrive. Self-care is getting adequate sleep. There are sometimes circumstances outside of our control that disrupt our sleep, and sometimes we're not able to get that solid 8 hours. But self-care is about getting as much sleep as you can and prioritizing sleep where you can. So maybe that means putting the phone down earlier in the evening. Maybe that means not drinking a caffeinated beverage at 4 p.m., whatever that means to you to get adequate sleep. And self-care can also be remaining connected to whatever spiritual or religious practices are precious to you. That can be going to church, that can be going out into nature, that can be meditating, it may be volunteering. Whatever keeps you connected to a sense that you are a part of something bigger than yourself. So why is self-care important? Self-care helps us to alleviate the effects of toxic stress and trauma, which can be held in our bodies, in our minds, and then leak out into our relationships with others and our relationship with ourselves. Self-care improves our mental well-being, improves our physical well-being, boosts our emotional resilience, our ability to tolerate life's challenges and uncertainties with some resilience. It also allows us to care for those around us better. Not all of us were taught how to properly take care of ourselves. Our caregivers are supposed to model this for us, and sometimes they simply didn't know how to do so in one area or in all areas. And so as adults, we now have the opportunity to provide those needs to ourselves. The first step is sometimes the hardest step, which is to know yourself, to take inventory, to take stock. What are the current habits in your life that support your well-being? And what are the current habits in your life that maybe are not so supportive? The second step is to commit to yourself that it is important to care for yourself. And then we make a plan of action, and then we act on our plan. And then we go back to the beginning because this is a never ending process, and we take stock again. How well is the plan working? Make a recommitment, adjust the plan if needed, and continue to act. So the first step in learning to better take care of ourselves is knowing ourselves, and we can think of the 6 categories of human needs using the SPICES acronym: social, physical, intellectual, creative, emotional, and spiritual. As you're thinking about these human needs, in what ways are you meeting these needs for yourself? In healthy ways and sometimes in not so healthy ways. But these are human needs, and we strive, whether consciously or unconsciously, to meet them. This is another great visual for considering the ways that we take care of ourselves. The self-care wheel. This uses slightly different terms for the different areas, the 6 different domains as the previous slide, but the message remains the same. In the physical realm, we have safe housing, regular medical care, eating healthy, getting exercise. It can be fun things like bubble baths and massages, but can also be simply taking a walk or turning off our cell phone for a little while. In the psychological realm, this can include therapy. It can also include journaling. It can include gardening, relaxing in the sun, reading a self-help book, reflecting on your own positive qualities and strengths. In the emotional realm, positive affirmations are an act of self-care, telling ourselves, reminding ourselves that we are capable, that we continue to grow and learn, and that as we know better, we do better. It can be cuddling with your pet. It can be getting a hug from a family member. These are all ways that we can fill our emotional cup. In the spiritual realm, this can be, as I mentioned, going to church. It can also be self-reflection. It can be going into nature. It can be meditating. It can be playing with your children, taking that moment to not only bond with them, but to be connected to something bigger than yourself. In the personal realm, on this wheel of self-care, understanding who you are and what you want in life, making short-term and long-term goals or a vision board can be an excellent way of taking care of yourself and identifying in what ways your current habits are aligned with what you want for yourself. And then in the professional realm, self-care includes taking your lunch break. I know many of us can be guilty of working straight through our lunch break because we just get so busy, or we feel like we can't take it, but we are legally allowed and protected to take a lunch break, and it is necessary for us to be able to do our jobs. No matter what our job is, we can do it better when we are properly rested and properly nourished. It can also be leaving work at work, whether it was a difficult customer or a difficult conversation with your boss. Process it as you need to, and then leave work at work to the best of your ability. Learning to say no, to set boundaries around work, and using whatever benefits are available to you, such as sick days when you're sick. These are all ways that you can practice taking care of yourself in the different realms. So the next step is to then decide that it is important and commit to yourself. So you're going to flip your thinking from selfish to necessary, and from indulgence to part of life. As the saying goes, you can't pour from an empty cup. There's another saying out there that if you don't take the time to rest, the time will take you. Your body will force it upon you. And therefore, self-care is incredibly necessary and always better to schedule rather than to be unexpectedly forced to take time. So as you embark on this journey of learning to care for yourself in ways that maybe don't come naturally to you or you haven't practiced before, praise yourself, recognize your own effort and your progress, no matter how small. We all start somewhere. The third step is to make the plan of action. How will you incorporate self-care into your daily and weekly routines? As you're doing this, you can think about SMART goals, which are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time specific. So an example of maybe an unrealistic goal might be, oh, I'm going to start meditating for an hour every day. Well, if you've never meditated before, that might not be incredibly realistic. A more specific or SMART goal might be, I'm going to use the Calm app on my phone to meditate every morning for 5 minutes while I drink my coffee. I'm going to track this in the app, and I'm going to do this for 2 weeks and then take stock of how I feel. This is a very specific, small, achievable goal. Maybe it's only 2 minutes a day that you practice some deep breathing. Whatever is specific and relevant and reasonable for you in your life, knowing that you can always go up from there. You can always increase the time or make adjustments to your goals as you go. So the fourth step is then to act on your plan. And as I mentioned before, if you find that something isn't working, no need to beat yourself up. Just take stock, what's not working, adjust the plan, and recognize that this is an ongoing process, not a one and done event. So some practical ideas for self-care: establishing a bedtime routine. That includes turning off devices that can keep you awake and disrupt that melatonin production in your brain. Turning off devices 30 minutes to an hour before bedtime. Darkening your sleeping area, keeping it cool, keeping it quiet. Those can all help you get quality sleep, even if there are circumstances that make it difficult to get enough sleep, long enough sleep. But focus on improving the quality of your sleep as you're able to get it. Another option or idea for self-care is to empower your children or any other individuals that you're caring for with self-initiated activities. Again, this is dependent on your specific situation, but an example could be providing a snack drawer that your preschool age child has access to with safe snacks for them that they can serve themselves. This is an act of self-care for you because it allows them to meet their own needs, teaching them how to meet their own needs, but also eliminates one more demand on your time and your energy and attention, which also ties into the next point, which is create a yes environment. It can be really exhausting to be constantly monitoring whether someone, a little one, or somebody who maybe shouldn't have access to dangerous objects in the house, constantly watching and monitoring can be very stressful on you. And so, as an act of self care, by creating a more yes environment and removing items that you don't want your little one to get into, um, alleviates some of the stress on you, the mental stress, and the constant need to be paying attention. Always, of course, be supervising your children, but creating a yes environment means that you spend less time saying no and less time intervening and interrupting their behavior and their play, and more time enjoying the moment and bonding with them, more time saying yes. Another idea for self-care is to make your first meal nutritious. Whatever time your first meal of the day is, focus on getting a well-rounded plate of carbs, fats, proteins. Drinking enough water, moving your body every hour. Those are all ways to care for your physical well-being. Call or text a friend, Spend a few minutes outdoors every day, or bring the outdoors inside with a potted plant. Connection to nature is scientifically proven to reduce the stress hormone cortisol and improve mental well-being. Spend at least once a week, spend some time on a creative outlet, whether that's coloring in a coloring book. Maybe you like to knit. Maybe you like to build things and make things with your hands. Maybe you play an instrument or just turn on some music and dance. In some way, have a creative outlet once a week, even just for a few minutes, can really help you stay connected to you. Joining local groups of like-minded people for in-person meetups if possible, but even over Zoom is an excellent way to stay connected with people. That can be church, that can be AA, that can be NA, that can be knitting groups, book groups, hiking groups, etc. There are lots of support groups in the community, and I'm going to talk about one on the next slide that I hope you will come join. Listening to calming music, practicing deep breathing, and set a daily reminder to stretch every hour, a few times a day, whatever is reasonable for you to move and stretch and keep yourself well. So if you enjoyed these practical strategies and want to hear more about how we can incorporate self-care into our daily lives and incorporate building community, building relationship with other parents while practicing self-care, I encourage you to join us every Thursday from 9 to 10 at the Jamestown Family Resource Center. We have Self-Care for Caregivers, which is a support group. Again, that is facilitated by me. My name is Kaitlyn, and I work for the Raising Healthy Families program here at ISIS, and I am an MFT trainee with Tuolumne County Behavioral Health. Thank you for watching this workshop, and if you have any questions about any of our programs or about the contents of the workshop, please feel free to give us a call, 209-533-0377. Take care.